it's also the law of reciprocation. Like,
Yeah.
because you're giving so much to these people, they just feel so inclined to give back.
Yeah. You guys see how that is? You see that reciprocity, that whole bounce back? So the more you edify other people, the more it's going to come back at you. I want to share with you today the power of the Lighthouse strategy. The Lighthouse strategy is where if you have one great client, you can use that to get 10 more. So here's how the Lighthouse model works. And I want you, as we're going through this, to apply this for yourself. Because the reason why you're here at Mark Lack's Personal Brand Accelerator is you're using your personal brand to get more clients, right? Because you're an expert, because you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're an author, you have some kind of expertise. Other people want to be able to hire you, go through your program, buy your course, because they see who you are and they see what you've done. And the number one reason people buy from you is because they see other people that are like them successful. So they're like, you know what, if Angelina's been successful, then maybe I want to do the same thing too, right? And the whole point of a lighthouse is you have a great example that can get you other examples. I'm going to walk through several dozen other examples of how we've done that. And Danny's got a great example too. So we're going to walk through his example as well too. So this is something that we've used, whether it's like having the Golden State Warriors as a client, together other NBA teams, all the way to just having a local business, like maybe a pest control company, or maybe a chiropractor, or maybe a real estate agent, and getting more of the same. You know, it's kind of like the law of reciprocity, like whatever you put out there in the universe, you get more of. It's like karma in a way, but it's how we amplify that from a marketing standpoint. So what is a lighthouse? A lighthouse is a great client where you've documented that SOP, ideally in video, like in a podcast, whatever, so that it can then be published. And that means published as a YouTube video, published on your website, published as a book, published in social media snippets, published in your GMB, published wherever, other people's websites, published as articles that you share. And that's not a testimonial. That's not a landing page. That's not your offering. That's not your coaching program, but it's sharing literally how you do what you do with the authority of someone else, ideally with the client. That's not you talking about it. That's the client talking about yourself. And then when you share that across all the other networks, you get more of the same thing. Okay. So if you Google Lighthouse strategy and my name, you'll see that we have literally done this thousands of times. So Vendasta is the largest player in white label local services. And you can see that George Leith, the head of sales, who grew this thing from nothing to 800 employees. We go on and on about lighthouses, and we have lots of examples of lighthouses, and we have videos going through. Oh, look at this. I hate the freeze frame. It always stops some weird thing. But here with RepStack, who's a client, they happen to have me on their podcast, and we're talking about the Lighthouse strategy, and not just for marketing agencies, for anybody. So, for example, I'm with Daryl Isaacs. I'm staying at one of his homes in Florida, and I have Daryl here, and we're defining what is the Lighthouse strategy. So, you know, Azar is interviewing me. I'm at one of Daryl's homes, and Daryl happens to walk in as we literally are talking about what is the Lighthouse strategy, and this is what happens.
We'll put this here, right here. All right. So this is Daryl Isaacs. He's known as the Hammer.
Hello.
And
Hi, Daryl.
he's not
How you doing?
ordinary personal injury. Let's go this way, because this weird, got this weird. You know what? Let's just stand. Let's stand back over here. All right.
Good to meet you, Daryl.
Or let's
Nice
see,
to meet you.
over this way, just like a little bit more here. Okay.
All
Let me
right.
just tilt it. Okay, so Azar runs RepStack, and he provides services to other agencies. They're out of Pakistan. They're creating a ton of jobs.
Oh,
I love what they're doing. We have a lot of mutual friends.
okay.
And so we're helping a lot of agencies grow, because, you know, agencies they're constantly focusing on trying to sell the client. They don't have clear processes.
Right.
And when we have these clear published processes, and we have a lighthouse, meaning a great example.
Oh,
So Daryl Isaacs is an example of a lighthouse, because he's got hundreds of personal injury attorneys that follow him. He just had a conference in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. He's done $2 billion in recovery, and he's
Nice.
super well known. We were in Kentucky with him last week, And wherever we went to restaurants or whatnot, people would stop him because his face is on TV and billboards. He's got Super Bowl ads, all that kind of stuff. So he's super well known.
Stop, you're gonna make me blush.
You are blushing, Daryl.
Well, Dennis is the best in the world, and I always work with the best in the world. So I reached out and instant respect and relationship. So in fact, he came down to visit me in Florida. I've got a place down here. So he's hanging out of my place, and I'm stealing all his knowledge.
Well, you got to go for it. Dennis and I have been spending some time, for the last 1 year.
Right.
I'm originally in Calgary. I'm in Athens right now, but Dennis and I got to ride some scooters back in May, and since then we've been implementing his strategies. And one of his strategies that he's been talking to us about is his Lighthouse strategy, and it's a true example, right? Like we have a lighthouse right here. You take that person and you build relationship with those, like you identify those people inside your niche, and now you have content with these people, and they help build authority for any business that you're trying to promote, right? So it's incredible. Daryl, we have a waiting list of clients right now because of Dennis. We have like 20 plus clients waiting for us to get our people inside their digital marketing agencies. We sell to, I think, we sell to one of the hardest people, which is digital marketing agency owners. And, it's, we book like 120 plus discovery calls every single month. And then even after that, we can't sell to them. They have to wait usually 2 weeks up.
Okay, so you can see we're literally demonstrating the Lighthouse model live, which is weird. It's like the Inception, where it's the movie inside the movie, and the dream inside the dream inside the dream. And I want to know, what do you guys think? How would you define the Lighthouse model? What have you learned from this, where I'm bringing a client on a podcast to talk about how do you build authority? And then he literally comes in and says what he says. What does that mean? I know Will Troop is here. Will knows. He's seen that firsthand himself. Is Dan Hewlin here? Dan's here as well. Dan's implementing the Lighthouse strategy. Yeah, with Will's help, because Dan has some great clients that before he's never really featured. He kept kind of secret, maybe because he thought it was a privacy thing, but everyone wants to be honored, right? Dan serves through elite student coaching. He serves high net worth parents, where these parents want their kids to be super successful, not just to get in the great colleges, but to have everything in life, right? And to set them up the right way, the right mindset, to be able to do masterminds and teach others and do public speaking and have leadership things, which are largely intangible. But by honoring the success that these other folks have, Dan's not self-promoting. He's honoring other people. And who doesn't want a little bit more appreciation, a little bit more respect, which is actually how you grow your business, by demonstrating what you were doing. So that's what I literally was doing there. That's what I did with Vendasta. That's what I did with this personal injury attorney. That's the guy we're meeting in a couple of days, Ken, who's the pest control guy. I've known this guy for a while, but because of the Lighthouse of Perry Marshall, who's one of my lighthouses, that draw other people who are in Perry's community, because they see Perry and I have been friends. That trust spills over onto me, even people that I've never met. So I wanted you to see firsthand the power of the Lighthouse strategy, what the Lighthouse strategy is, and then I'm going to show you step by step how to implement this Lighthouse strategy. But I first want to make sure that you understand the power of a lighthouse and why you need a lighthouse. And if you can identify a lighthouse among any client, it doesn't even have to be a current client. It could be a project that you worked on a long time ago. But the power of your personal brand is not how eloquent you are. Not all of us can speak as well as Mark Lack. Not all of us know Mike Tyson, like Rhonda just mentioned. But all of us can definitely leverage the word of mouth and trust that comes from other people that know who you are, right? So if you know Ryan Davis of Service Legend, then the people in this, he just walked by, then the power of the Service Legend community then helps you out, right? And I see a lot of us here struggling from a personal branding standpoint because we feel wrongly that we have to produce all this content ourselves. And once you flip that and realize your lighthouse does all the work, your clients and your community, all the people that you work with, the people that know you, do your work for you, all of a sudden this huge weight is lifted off of you and you realize I don't have to do any sales and marketing at all. It's a completely different view of selling. So I'll leave it at that. And before we go to the next stage, I want to hear your feedback. What I would like, Danny, I want to hear your feedback. You guys can chime in, say what you want. I want to hear your feedback.
I think that having a lighthouse is incredibly powerful. And really, you only need one lighthouse. When you just have one great lighthouse, a great example of what you do, what you provide, and what other clients are hoping to get, when prospects want, like, let's say they want 20 clients.
Yeah.
And you provided one of your clients 20 clients.
Yeah.
Then they'll see that and they'll be like, wait, like that's exactly what I want. Yeah. Instead of you telling them that you're going to get them 20 clients, your client is telling them, wow, you're so great. You did this for me. And they're like, oh, wait, like he's not even trying to advertise. Like they're genuinely trying to help me.
Yeah. Dan or Will, what do you think?
I think like as an agency owner, it helps too. Just the wrapping your head around the concept of a lighthouse client, because it makes you want to work harder for the person you're delivering to. Obviously, everyone wants to think that they're by default like caring for their clients. But when you conceptualize it and visualize it as like, I'm working so that this person's going to benefit me because it's going to be great marketing, I think it helps your own work ethic and drive in that way.
That is a huge point, Will. I want to touch on that a little bit more. Yes, it gives you more incentive and drive, but consider this, and I want to hear what Dan thinks about this. Will, you are a relatively new agency, and someone like Dan could hire anyone he wants to, right? Why would he hire some 22-year-old that only has a little bit of experience, ostensibly? Same thing for Danny, right? Why would someone hire a 19-year-old? It's because of this. So Dan, imagine I was 22. I feel like 22 sometimes. And I said, hey, Dan, I'm new in digital marketing and I don't have a lot of experience. I don't have a lot of big successes under my belt, but I want to do a really good job, which is what they'll all say, right? But then they say, and I want to do such a good job that your example is the example that everyone else in the industry says, you know what? I want to have it done like the way it was done for Dan Hewlin. I want to make you so happy, Dan, that you want to tell everybody about what it was like working with Will Troop. Not because I'm going to pay you a commission to, refer things, whatever, but how does that change the credibility angle if I tell you, Dan, up front, yeah, I want to do a good job, and I want to do such a good job. I'm telling you now, before we even start, I want to do such a good job that I want you to tell everyone about it. And I want to document every step along the way. And I want to make you proud. How do you feel about that?
So two answers to that question. And by the way, hi, Danny. Great to see you.
How's it going, Dan?
Yeah. So I had the good fortune to meet Danny and Will. And Will knocked it out of the park the first night that we had dinner at the Pancake House or wherever that place was, by just impressing me with just his demeanor. And and I remember when I was 22. And I moved to Japan and nobody knew who I was. And it was just that micro, let me just show you. And the first day that Will and I started working together, it was that micro demonstration. We all have to start somewhere, right? And there's that premise that you hire somebody based on past success. Past success is a demonstration of future success. We all have to start somewhere. And along the way, we just got off a meeting, right? Well, like 5 minutes ago. And Will's documenting every step along the way, what he's doing. The other thing, too, is that Will had said to me, I want to make you my lighthouse client, right? But I want to make Will my lighthouse guy. Like it goes in both directions, right? Will's the same age as the kids with whom I'm working, in my extension program. So he brings this incredible perspective. And we've talked about celebrating clients, and we're talking about making the videos with the kids with whom I'm working right now. So it's this feedback loop. And to what you said before, credibility, it goes to that old PR thing. People may believe what you have to say about yourself, but people are really going to believe it when parents and kids talk about the results that they're having. And it gives me great joy to celebrate. I mean, I love it. I love it so much. My kids have been knocking it out. The kids with whom I work, my kids have been just crushing it recently. And Dennis, this. Nothing makes me happier. So, and I think people can tell that authenticity. You can't fake that part.
So so the Lighthouse, we agree the Lighthouse model is powerful. We agree that word of mouth, reputation, other people speaking for you is way more powerful than anything you could ever say about yourself. If we all agree there, is anyone, before we move to the next stage, is anyone confused Or does anyone believe, well, my clients would never talk about me, or I already have plenty of testimonials. How is this any different? Is everyone clear so far? If you're not clear, or if you're confused about why the Lighthouse strategy is the most powerful way for you to get more business, say something now. Because if I lose you at any step along the way, then it's like a domino, you're going to lose everything else. Okay, Kim says, I like the upfront intentionality of letting someone know I want, to be my lighthouse. It's not a trick. It's not something where I'm trying to get you to say certain words and then like chop them up in a certain way. No, everything is completely intentional. It is upfront. It helps everyone to know, like, you see why I have an incentive to do a good job for you, right? The same thing for Danny. Danny wants to do a good job for his pest control guy because he said explicitly, I want to get another 10 pest control clients. And if I don't do a good job with you, you're not going to want to say all these good things about me to all the other people in pest control, because all these guys talk to each other, right? They go to the same conferences. They use the same software. The internet's a small place. Okay. So we all agree with that. Now that we do, I'm going to show you what it means to gather Lighthouse material and document behind the scenes. And you've heard, Gary Vaynerchuk say things like, instead of market or whatever, document. And I agree, documenting what you're doing, just like this, right? We're kind of this is literally real time. I'm at Daryl's house. But remember, I was showing you how on my iPhone, the phone is literally gathering everything that I'm doing. I was in Chicago with Marco, he does $320,000 a month, pretty awesome, for his home service agency. All these things are being gathered. And if I go back a little further, let's say, even if I look for like Will, you can see we're at Sky Zone, there's Dan, and look at all this that's occurring behind the scenes. So this is not look, even his eyes are closed. This is not the actual camera footage. The actual camera footage is on the camera. You can see because the screen renders this beautiful kind of orange and the iPhone shows the actual colors in it. But you see, so this is shot on a fancy camera. This is recording a bunch of snippets. Will, you can see, has prepared his notes, guiding Dan through these different questions that we can repurpose into different snippets to be able to show the why, how, and what, all the different components of the funnel necessary for hundreds of videos and different derivative content for Dan, landing pages, parts of a book, stuff we can run through AI, all this kind of massive content creation, which I thought was a great success. Very, very proud of the preparation that Will did and how everything came off, right? Dan was great on camera. That was shot on a professional camera. What you see here right now was shot on my iPhone behind the scenes. There's, behind the scenes, we're having dinner with one of the most famous people in marketing. All these, and then there's another evening of doing all kinds of crazy stuff, playing golf, right? Let me ask, not rhetorically, but to anyone here, but probably Dan and Will answer, what's more powerful? Something like this, where it's literally just a few seconds of behind the scenes of coaching.
Whether I'm ADD or I just was not able to pay attention.
Showing the process, or the video itself, where Dan is telling stories. And let's assume that video itself is expertly edited, right? Everything's done fantastically. What carries more weight? The B-roll shot on an iPhone on Dennis's shaky hands, or the professionally edited video?
B-roll.
The B-roll. Why?
More relatable.
I had an example of this. I did a video and we had at the end of the video, my mum and I just cracking up hysterically, like laughing until we were crying. And that video got the most views of everything, and everyone was just like enjoying the laughter of the video. So I think the outtakes, they love the outtakes, and I think it's for what Angelina said, just the real humanity of it.
Absolutely. And plus, being behind the camera makes it feel like they're there with you. And when you have mistakes, a lot of people are not on camera, or they don't want to do their own podcast because they're afraid of being judged, because they don't speak as clearly, because their hair, I don't even have any hair. It doesn't even matter. You're worried about your hair. I'd rather have bad hair than no hair. They're worried about all of these things when really none of that mattered. The imperfections are actually what caused, this is so weirdly counterintuitive, but those imperfections cause people to identify with you more closely. If you're too perfect, I think Mark Lack is too perfect. It's so perfect that you're trying to, at least people like me, are trying to inspect for flaws. You don't hear ums and ahs out of him. You don't hear him falter. I do that all the time. Forget what I'm supposed to say, right? It's actually those imperfections when it's captured in moments of co-created content, like we're co-creating content right now, that create the authority. That's what we're trying to do. And if you capture it on your iPhone, you have these moments, but then they need to be organized. So imagine we take this moment. Dan's telling a story. It's probably 3:44 a.m. on June 18th, 1 month ago, almost exactly. And it's in our little video studio here in Vegas. But what kind of video are we going to be collecting at 3:44 in the morning? That means the sun's about to come up. But this is a candid moment. We have so many of these kinds of candid behind the scenes moments. And then we film again the next morning. And here it is. The Google AI picked up the faces of Dan and Will, and again on the screen too. Isn't that neat? It recognized them twice. But it didn't know that this Will Troop is this Will Troop. So the AI is not quite perfect yet. But imagine the kinds of stories that you could tell from here, right? So Dan Hewlin, if you were to caption this, like, what would you say about this moment?
I had to unmute. Perfectly imperfect. You know, I was saying to you, oh, I look so tired and I'm stumbling over my words, but it was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine. Bags under my eyes, and I think that night we got like 2 hours of sleep. I think I stumbled over my words like 4 times. You know what though? It's great because you're right about Mark Lack. I love Mark so much, but he's just got that perfect hair and everything is just
looks too good.
He never stumbles. He never stumbles.
He always has panache. Look, Mark Black. You're never going to see his hair is always perfectly done. Actually, that one's not quite perfect. What is this one anyway? February 2nd. What was it?
Hey, I'm Mark Lack, and I just wanted to film this quick video to give a shout out to Dennis Yu. I love you, brother. I want to thank you so much. I've done coaching and consulting with Dennis for years. It's generated me millions of dollars in sales and profit. It's been incredible, the strategies that Dennis has shared with me.
That's pretty good. I should probably run $1 a day against that, huh? But you see how this is what you want. I didn't intentionally mean to play that one, but you see, there's so much in terms of behind the scenes as we're doing stuff, right? But what's this one? Oh, he was teaching a workshop. I think I wasn't here at this.
Dennis, I'm teaching the $1 per day strategy right now to an awesome audience. Just say hi to Dennis, guys. See Dennis.
How random is that? Yeah, I just saw that. He texted that to me, like, what's this? And there's this 8-second crowd screaming thing. And this is when he gave me a copy of his book. This is back in 2015, Shorten the Gap. Of course, I have my book now too. But literally what I would do is take one of these moments. This is what I want you to do. This is how you use anyone, you're like the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's really what the Lighthouse strategy is, but it's amplifying it, right? So I could take this picture. Or actually, is there one here, Dan Hewlin, that you like more than these other ones? I can take any of them and tell a story behind it. You name it. Actually, I kind of like this one because it's kind of you know what, this is a good one. I like this one. Yeah. So I could take this and I want to literally show you how to repurpose these things, right? So I take this one to Mark Lack and Dan Hewlin, choose any social network. You're on mute. I can't hear you. TikTok. Okay. Well, TikTok requires video. I want to make a TikTok right now. And I'm going to do it as a 60-second one. And I'll say, this is my man, Mark Lack. And in 2015, he gave me a copy of his book, Shorten the Gap. And I am so proud of Mark. Over the years, he's implemented $1 a day.
Dennis, I'm teaching the $1 per day strategy right now to an awesome audience. Just say hi to Dennis, guys.
And now, years later, after he's made millions of dollars, we're in our coaching group here, Shorten the Gap, Personal Brand Accelerator, and all of these people are here because Mark Lack made an impact on them. And I'm so proud of all of you guys. I hope you can also teach your personal brand from your own example. All of our coaches and experts and consultants here, I hope they all become the next Mark Lack, just like Danny here, Meet people. Be perfectly imperfect. Be a law pro like our buddy Josh there. And make 1-minute videos. Thought I added the sound. Then I have to change the volume level. I've got two sounds, the original sound and then the other sound. The original sound I turn all the way up. The added sound I turn down to like 10%. See there? So now I've got the background sound at like 10%. I say done. Now I have to add some text to the top of it, and I'll say
Accelerator, and all of these people
This is
are here
Mike
because
Black's
Mark Black made
crazy
the impact
transformation
on them.
being
And I'm so proud of all
like
of you guys. I hope
my
you can
mentor.
also teach your personal brand.
okay, there it is. I put some text here, but I'm editing the text to make it beautiful. Oops. You want to
Now, years later,
make it
after he's made
look
millions of
like
dollars, we're in
this,
our coaching
like this.
here.
See there? Tilt it a
Yeah.
little bit to the side.
Accelerator, and all of
And
these
also when
people
you're doing a TikTok,
are here
when you
because
edit
Mark
this
Black
text,
made an
you can
impact.
set the duration. So look,
Proud of
I'm
you
coming,
guys.
I'm clicking on this and I'm going to have it last for just the first few seconds. You see the timeline here? I'm going to have it last just for the first. Now I've got a post and I'll say, if only all, if your personal brand. No, not if. This is how. Mark Black's. This is almost on the edge of like infomercial promisey. Personal brand makes him millions. So you're learning copywriting. And I don't know if I can tag him. Is he on TikTok? So I can find Mark Black. So there, let's see. I think I have everything. I can add a link. I can do lead gen. There, posted it, everyone. Okay, good. Now I made the post. Watch this. You chose the more difficult one, Dan, but that's okay. We did it anyway. So let's go to my TikTok. And this is the one we just made. As you can see, nobody has seen it yet. The stats on it show nothing. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to boost it. I'm going to apply $1 a day, right? Okay. I'm on TikTok on mobile and I'm clicking on that post. I'm clicking on the triple dots. I'm hitting the promote button down here. You see that with the one with the flame, the promote at the bottom center, the promote. And I'm going to spend a couple bucks. It's on my TikTok. It just takes a second to show. And we're going to spend just a couple bucks on it to promote it. And I'm not doing any kind of targeting. Now here's my chance to boost it, right? I'm taking this post. I can boost anyone's post. If they give me the access code, if someone talks about me, I can boost their post. Okay. And now it's saying, it's estimating I'm going to reach 1,600 to 5,000 people. I'll just put it at $5 a day and I'll let it run for 2 days. So 5 times 2 is $10. And I'm not doing any targeting. Now I can change my objective to choose website visits. So let's just say, yeah, maybe I do want to promote my personal brand package. blitzmetrics.com/EPB, which is Express Personal Brand. Do all you guys have URLs for the things that you sell where people can automatically pay? You should do that because you'd be surprised how many people will just go ahead and buy the thing for you. Okay, so there. So I'm promoting this URL. The button is learn more and hit save. Now I have boosted it. There it is. Okay, good. So I've just boosted this post. See, there it is. $10. I boosted this post. It's under review, so it may take 20 minutes, maybe an hour or two. But now I boosted this post. And what'll happen is that TikTok is going to find other people that are just like that. So when you make random videos, some of them like this one literally is just
$57 an hour right now.
what's a pilot make, right? My buddy takes me out to eat whatever, Thai food or something. And he's a pilot for a Legion. And he said, I only make money when the door's closed. So when there's a delay, I don't make any money. Did you know that? Like, no, that's crazy. Really? He's like, yeah, when there's a flight delay or whatever, like we're mad just like you because we're not getting paid. Like, really? So he explained this in this video, in this 31-second video that got 200,000 views, as you can see.
4 hours straight last night.
Let me go back to this.
Alex, how much does a pilot get paid?
See, he answers the question.
$57 an hour right now, but it's only when the door closes. So when we're sitting there waiting
How you
for
doing?
food to take their seats,
Yep.
we're sitting there
See,
waiting
Nick?
for maintenance. We're getting 0.
Oh, Yeah. How much does Pilot make per year?
Now look at this. If we look at the analytics on this post,
So I would say starting.
I gotta pause this. Look at the analytics on this post. 200,000 views, 16,000 likes. So it's close to 10%. We're looking for 10% for $1 a day. But look at this. This video is 31 seconds and the average watch time is 17 seconds. That is massive, right? Same thing for YouTube. You can get people to watch more than half on average. 31% watch the whole video. Most people don't even get a fraction of that, right? Look at all these people that are coming by. They're high-fiving us here. Say hi to everybody here. Watch all these people that want to come say hi. What TikTok has done is they found, so it's not because the video is necessarily more engaging, is TikTok found people that would want to engage with the topic here. Now, all I did in the text was I put that big text that says, what does a pilot make? So if we look at the comments, look at these comments. These are pilots, A320, you know, hey, American Airlines pays better, or, you know, the Allegiant sucks, or this, I fly this other airplane, or, you know, these are, you know, I'm going into college to major in aviation. Was it? Did you see like how well targeted this is? Do you not get over that? Pilots this, pilots that, pilots that. Like most of these are A320 is my favorite. This guy's probably a pilot, right? Home time. The only people who talk about that is the actual pilots because they worry about their schedule, right? So look at this. American wide body first officers make 300K a year. I fly private. So this one here, first officer, American wide body, all that happened was I made this one video interviewing my friend who's a pilot. He's not wearing any pilot gear. He's not in an airplane. And literally we're just talking about what a pilot makes. And what TikTok did was, because of the nature of the comments and because it does facial recognition and whatnot, not because of the text here, YouTube and all these guys only look at the text. It found other people that it thought would be interested in this content. So the content that we just made featuring Mark Lack, what I did was, just to recap, I took a moment, anyone, it could be a picture, it could be a video, and I just talked about it. So you can use a Lighthouse retroactively. You can take any content that you make and you're not using it to try to talk about yourself. You're highlighting them and their success, right? And I said, Mark Lack is super successful. I'm so proud of him. But if people dig a little deeper, they're going to see that Mark Lack has talked about the $1 a day strategy for years and years, right? So I'm letting Mark do the work for me. And now that I boosted this for $10, it recognizes who Mark Lack is. And we're going to start to see more people, like 100 people have already seen it. One like and comment. Okay, let's see what happened here. There's some comments here. Who commented on this? Oh, Bally did. Nice. Isn't this so meta? Meta about meta.
This is my man, Mark.
This is great. Yeah. You guys all are on camera. That's awesome. And that means now TikTok has you on camera, because at this moment here, TikTok is going to.
And in 2015, he like our buddy Josh there here. I hope they all become.
Yeah. See, TikTok is now going to recognize all the people who are here showing their face. Is that like weird or creepy or? Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. Yeah. So we've been, hey, look, we're producing a ton of content here, processing it. So you have a VA use Descript or whatnot, publish it. So a lot of people, the content is stuck here. This is called constipation. It has to get processed so that it can live in these other places. So what Will Troop is doing is handling mainly stages 2, 3, and 4 for Dan Euland. And then the boosting, the $1 a day. And what the RepStack folks were showing is that their SEO went from nothing to ranking on lots of keywords that they wanted to rank on, because they took their video content, their social content, and they posted these as blog posts, and they posted these as YouTubes. And because they also did it as social, that social signal helped their SEO because it drive more traffic to the site. And Google takes into account how much traffic you get on the site and the engagement as well. So using $1 a day on social is actually an SEO strategy. Isn't that neat? So the beauty of the Lighthouse is the anchor of your values, of your content, of your brand. So think about it this way. Most people, they have a network, people that they've taken a picture with, right? Gary Vaynerchuk, Jake Paul, whoever it is. But what I want you to do, if you've not done already, is organize your content around topics that you care about. What are you an expert in? So Dan Yulin, what are you an expert in? Will has put together a basic topic wheel. Who are the other people? It could be these clients. It doesn't have to be clients. It could be other people in the industry. It could be competitors even. There's no real competitor once you understand what this is all about. There's no such thing as a competitor. And then you have content that aligns with your topics. So whether you go from the topic to the people, if you're an introvert, then you think about topics and then you go to people. If you're an extrovert, you think about people and you go to topics. So you can go outside in, inside out. And when you have these other people that you know well, they're lighthouses for you. The best lighthouse is a client, but anybody can be a lighthouse, right? I'll be a lighthouse for anyone here as long as we have some kind of story to share together, right? Otherwise, it's just like a fake testimony. You want something you actually, some shared experience that you can talk about that embraces a certain value that you have, right? So the lighthouse strategy is nothing more than word of mouth and PR and SEO and social media are all actually the same thing. Everything we're talking about here is the same thing, but the lighthouse is a concentration approach. It takes the best moments that you have, like these best moments here, and it helps other people. It does the work for you. So these ones out here are my greatest hits. So we're doing a lot of stuff with real estate. So Will Troop is probably doing some stuff with real estate, right? The lighthouse strategy is when, actually, who wants to recap what the lighthouse strategy is? Just kind of to see, is this making sense? Valley wants to recap?
Oh, hi, Dennis.
There you
Hi,
go.
this is
Yeah.
Dennis. I love what you do, by the way. I've been following you and you certainly shine the light on a lot of people. And I've been going over HubSpot Academy and you keep popping up. And each time you pop up, you put a massive big smile on my face. So thank you.
Thank you, Bally. HubSpot's been very good to me. If you haven't caught on, this should be blatantly obvious. Your growth in selling programs and coaching and whatnot is directly proportional to how much you elevate other people. Because people don't want to buy from somebody who's desperate. People don't want to buy from someone who like, they really need that money to be able to pay their rent or whatnot, right? It's like this reverse psychology. So if you spend, the more time you spend elevating other, I know it's totally counterintuitive, but the more time you spend elevating other people, tell me, is this not true? The more business you generate and the more attractive you appear because other people want to spend time with you, the more other people want to spend time with you. It's like the kid with the playing with the toy. Now the other kid wants to play with the toy because the other kid has the toy. Absolutely works, right? I'm not saying fake it on social media. I'm not saying use fake PR. I'm not saying do any of these kinds of like, what's it called? Like the playing hard to get. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying the exact opposite, which is spend your time elevating the more, just find a way. Can we make this really practical? Can we agree that saying thank you 3 times a day literally takes 3 minutes in total? Write a post honoring someone's success. So somebody just had a baby. Somebody, just celebrated running their first Ironman. Somebody just, did something. Just share that on whatever your social media is and elevate them, right? Can you do that? Okay, who's this? Like, what do you guys think about this lighthouse strategy? Does it make sense? Do you think you can implement it? Oh, Kim wrote a recap. Yeah, that's right on. Yeah, it's literally just build in public, show what you do, right? So Danny's doing work for Ken, who's Portland Pest Control, right? It's Portland Pest Control company documenting how he's doing everything. Will and Dan are documenting everything along the way. Yeah, so David asked, this is called the 7-figure agency mastermind or intensive. It's in Miami. It's 3 times a year. Yeah, if you run a digital agency, this is probably the best place to be. Yeah, Kim says implement straight away. Okay, good.
Hey, Dennis.
Yep.
I wonder if you can speak to how that wonderful video you had in the golf cart the other day about active listening plays into the questions that you ask.
Yeah.
That you ask your clients and how that plays into creating content for the Lighthouse strategy.
That is a complex question. So first off, Dan was talking about active listening. And by the way we find things, people will ask for something. And then what I'll do is I literally search for it on Google. That's how I find it. Like people will ask me, how do I find this one thing? And then I'll Google, like you would not believe how many times I Google things for people. It's insane. I know it sounds ridiculous, but
because they just haven't tried Googling it.
They aren't doing it. I mean, here it is. there's different ways. Active listening is reflecting back when someone's talking to you, right? Instead of just talking. Most people are talking without listening. And then things like role playing on how to do that. But if we look inside our main group for Pakistanis, we have 40,000 people here. And there's a post here. Look, you can even do search. Most people don't even know that you can do search. Active listening. And there's a post here on active listening. Here it is. So 3,900 people have seen it. And here I'm explaining what active listening is.
About. The reason you're watching this video is because I want you to develop soft skills in active listening. So you may have heard of active listening, but let me tell you about what it is and why people have a problem when it comes to this and how you overcome it, okay? So when you're doing digital marketing, it happens to all of us. You make a mistake. The client's unhappy. The ad doesn't work. We're late on something. There's some kind of problem. Maybe it's someone else's fault. Maybe your grandfather died. Maybe you were sick. Maybe the internet was out. Maybe, someone didn't do their thing. But when there's a problem and the client or another team member comes to you and says, hey, we have this problem, you want to practice active listening. And active listening is this. When someone says something to you, instead of saying, I understand, you say, okay, Marco, what I hear you saying is that you're not happy because the report's been coming late. Is that right? And so that gives Marco a chance to be able to say, yes, that's correct. It's a way to confirm the understanding. You're repeating it back in your words. So the number one way to determine when someone is not doing active listening is when they reply back and saying, yes, I understand. Then that's just merely affirming that they get it without actually showing that they understand. So showing you understand is like, okay, what I hear you saying is that you're not happy because the campaigns we ran, the cost per acquisition was too high. Or you're not happy because you didn't like the creative for the website that we did. Or the problem is that we have not been doing MAA properly. Or just let me
see what it is we're asking acknowledgement, right? Active listening requires empathy. Empathy requires a certain level of vulnerability because most people, they're so busy talking, they're not listening. They're trying to respond, right? And instead of like, okay, so David, let me make sure I understand. Let me reflect it back to you that this is what I hear you saying. Is this correct? I'm not admitting to the problem necessarily. I'm not even saying we could disagree, but I'll say, David Hanlon, what I hear you saying is this. Is that about right? And David can say, yeah, that's right. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So now we've established that we're on the same page, and now I can give my point of view. But if I don't do active listening first and I just retort and I'm like, yeah, but this, and I make defensive excuses and all these things, it's not going to work, right? So active listening, I think, is critical in every aspect of communication, especially sales. Probably the biggest mistake I see in people who don't make any money is because they're so busy promoting just their own product because you got to relate to them. You got to meet people where they are. Like literally, if you go to my LinkedIn, let's just go to my LinkedIn, for example, okay? Or Twitter or whatever it is. Like, look at how many people are just messaging me on just random stuff, right? Actually, this guy is okay working. I deleted all these other ones here, but there's so many of them that are here that just hit me up and they'll say, hey, can we get on a call? I want to sell you on this random thing, or here's these other things I'm trying to sell you on. Oh yeah, like this. This is a great example, okay? I know I'm like flaming someone by putting them on the spot. You can see like this person is pretending to be a client. All right, this is the latest strategy of spam. Don't do this. Hey, could you tell me about all the programs that you have and success stories and all this? So this is a clear come on to say, hey, I might be a potential client. Spend some time with me, right? This is how they get past these gatekeepers, whatever. I'm like, yep, here it is. Here's our $1 program. Oh, it looks great. How are you producing your short form videos? Like, okay, now I know where you're going on this, right? Oh, well, that's good. But we create short form videos. Yeah. I just need to know about where I can help you. We should hop on a call. I'm like, what? You reached out to me. Yeah, but based on this, I saw you don't have any short form video content, meaning you're missing out on a ton of attention. Does that make sense? Yeah, how about your profile, bro? Let's take a look at your profile. There ain't shit here. Okay. There's none going on here. Oh, there's a Calendly link. There's nothing going on your profile, bro. So what's up with that? Pot calling the kettle black, come on. our clients use a video showing how to do it. Like, you've not even Googled me, right? But there's so many of these that are doing the same kind of thing, and they hit me up. Actually, I deleted all these other ones, but you'll see. I can go to any social. I can go to any of these.
You're trying to sell me.
These people they all reached out to me, just wondering if you're interested in this. Sure, blah 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 blah. I'm creating this thing, lifetime access, regularly $5.99. You could have it for $99. And let me know. By the way, so many people do this that I literally have keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to give you a piece of value. This is something that's going to save you an hour every day. Okay, you ready? Watch this. DSE. Boom. Love the cold outreach. Consider personalizing whatever it is. Here's how to get more responses. Right. And reply. Now, the way you do that is it's under your settings, and under the keyboard, you have the keyboard shortcuts, text replacements. Okay. So here, most people didn't even know there's all these crazy things that are built into Apple. Okay. Other things. So here, credit card number. I should probably hide that one. But here, 3 mistakes, apply job, book PH. These are all canned things that I will say all the time. People want to join office hours. They join. So if you type in any of these things, like I could literally type in here to, whatever. Let's say I made a new post, and for some dumb reason, I wanted to share my address. Like, there it is, right? Or I could say, you should join our coaching group, join office. There it is, right? So I have everything, like URLs too. All of this stuff is keyboard shortcuts. So think about the most common things that you say, and then you can just say that you want to grow your agency. Now I just say each of these is a shortcut for these long things that I just never need to ever repeat again. Isn't that cool? And I can do it on my phone too. Because the way Apple is, they get you in where your phone is tied to your laptop, is tied to the whole thing, right? You're all logged in together on all of them. So wherever I go, I do this in email, I do it in text, I do it everywhere. I use these shortcuts, right? I even have EML as a way to shortcut typing my email. I'm just literally saving another 2 seconds, right? I could literally, not that I would do this, but I could say my email is EML, boom, right? My credit card number. Oops, I'm not going to do that. Right. Literally, I'm using shortcuts. I know that has nothing to do with today's topic, but hopefully you found that. But there's so many people that you say the same things to over and over again. You want to say, for example, I like to say thank you a lot, right? You should always say thank you. So TY, thank you very much, right? Now I didn't have to type in the whole thing. Or let me know what you think. LM. Oh yeah, this is one of the most popular ones. I love to do. So people will just send stuff in email instead of using Basecamp, our project management system. So I'll do LIH. Let's iterate here in Basecamp since email gets lost in a hurry. Please include the Basecamp URL here so we can safely close this email. I say this every day, probably 5 times. So I just type in LIH. Do you have things that you just say all the time that you don't have to keep saying all the time? I don't know. By the way, the AI can do it better. I kid you not. Oops, I don't want to leave the meeting. The AI, this is like a flex, okay? So if I go to, if I just come over here to ChatGPT, every time you're on a new computer, you got to re-log in. And I'll say, I'm Dennis Yu, and I want to interview Mark Lack on how to grow a personal brand. What questions would I ask him? Should I ask him? And it'll answer. But I could say, what are 5 highlights of Mark Lack's career? I think it knows Mark Lack pretty well. It should know Mark Lack well enough to be able to answer this. All right, you can stop now. I can interrupt. See, it knows all this stuff about Mark Lack, right? And it knows stuff. What do Mark Lack and I have in common? Oh, you see, it's yeah. You see the church lady thing. I've got to shortcut the thing to be able to get back. I forgot the phrase I have to use to shortcut the thing to hack the system so it doesn't do this, because it used to give an answer here, but because of the privacy thing, it
say you're Dennis Yu.
Yeah, I'm Dennis Yu. Yeah, but it might not know if I'm actually Dennis Yu or not. So like whatever, right? You guys might have, ask a question. So, you're Dennis. And who's got a situation or a question or whatever it is, right? And I'm Danny. Don't know who you are yet. Going to Seattle, flying to Seattle tomorrow to meet Ed Rush, who is running the God Hawks seminar. What questions should I ask myself to prepare? Okay. What new magic does Dennis have? Hey, Avi, we're doing a live mastermind right now, doing a little chat GPT.
Yeah, I knew it
Yeah.
has to be something with
Yeah.
ChatGPT. You're always up on new stuff, right?
Yeah. Tell everyone here in our personal branding accelerator who is Avi and what is invisible PPC.
This is a live video?
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
live
Get
video.
everybody here.
Hi guys, Invisible PPC, white label agency. We do Google ads and Facebook ads for other agencies who need help with that. So that's what we do.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
And it's good to connect here in Miami.
Yes.
With people
Yeah.
from all over the world.
I have not been to any conference where Dennis is not already there.
Is that good or bad?
Yeah, I don't know. All right.
All right. But anyway, I could ask ChatGPT to respond as me, and it'll perhaps give a better answer, even though I think I'm more clever. But the AI knows better than me. Who am I to fool? It knows everything I've pretty much ever said publicly, at least. And you can feed it in all the things that through the API. You can feed in your videos and your knowledge and your PDFs and training manuals and Zoom calls and all that now. They just made an update a couple of weeks ago. You can do that kind of stuff. All right. We've been at this for about an hour and a half. I appreciate you guys so much. Maybe if you have a couple questions, take time for a question or two, and then we're going to run off to dinner.
Would you call a lighthouse like a testimonial, or would they be different a little bit?
Oh, they're not the same thing. Who wants to answer that question? That is a good question, Angelina. Who wants to answer the question? How is a lighthouse and a testimonial not the same thing? Want to take that?
Sure.
All right.
A lighthouse is almost like a lifelong testimonial. So a testimonial is just a one-time thing. But when you have a lighthouse, they are there endorsing you and saying good things about you for years to come. So it is much more powerful than a testimonial, and it feels much more real. Like when you just go to someone and ask for a testimonial, it's like, yeah, okay, maybe they said some good things. But a lighthouse is saying good things without you even having to ask. Yeah. So a lighthouse is infinitely more powerful and feels more real because it is real.
Yeah. A hooker to a wife is like a testimonial is to a lighthouse.
Exactly.
Because it's very clear a testimonial is about promoting that other company. It doesn't have value to the viewer, right? So when we watch a favorite show or whatever, it's value to us, it's entertainment. So when a lighthouse is sharing how they're doing something, the value is to the reader. It's not to promote the other company, right? There are some aspects that are testimonial-like because there's a positive mention and people will say good things about you. But just because someone's saying something good about you doesn't make it a testimonial. I do not like the word testimonial. I think testimonial is like a bad word. It's almost like a 4-letter word, because when you see a wall of testimonials, most people think that's a good thing, right? I mean, what you want to have on a web page, like here's a list of all these 20 people who have all said amazing things, especially on video, which is more realistic. Yeah, all else equal, better than nothing, but there's nothing more powerful than co-created content where you're elevating that other person and you're taking advantage of that reverse psychology, because you're telling that other person, yes, I'm someone who's trustworthy because of what they have to say, and they're not clearly being coerced to say these things. Like these people that are walking by, I'm not coercing them to say good things about me. I'm asking them about what they do, and then they throw in that extra bit, which people know is impromptu and it's spontaneous, right? Super powerful. So people ask me, how do I have hundreds of these LinkedIn recommendations. I have hundreds of reviews, hundreds of testimonials, thousands of people that have on video that have talked about $1 a day and 1-minute video and this kind of stuff. And you know why? It's because I'm elevating them. See, Amy's smiling because she knows that this is true, right? So do you guys literally see the secret? It's as easy as literally just elevating other people that are in your life. every day, can you spend 3 minutes? Only takes a minute. If you're really fast, it can take 15 seconds, right? 3 minutes, 3 minutes a day can change your life. Yeah.
So cool. It was so organic. It was just natural.
And so powerful. So Angelina, do you think you can spend 3 minutes a day doing this? And do you believe it will grow your business?
Yes.
How about everyone else here? Does everyone else believe this? Yeah. Like the guy who runs the conference right now is Josh Nelson. He's the one right here. Hey, Josh Nelson, come say hi to everybody on the mastermind. This is our personal brand accelerator. We told everyone about how amazing you are running this conference.
Great to see you guys. You're in good company with Dennis. You guys are talking about how to build your brands.
Yeah, tell everyone how you've grown this conference. You moved to a new place and how you're a lighthouse. Our topic today is lighthouses, which is an example that, and you growing an agency set the example for all the other agencies to follow. That creates huge credibility.
So, I mean, the way we grew it was just little by little, right? We started with the course and started figuring out where the challenges were, where the issues were, and solving problems, giving more valuable information. And it's grown from a little hotel in my own, actually it's grown from a conference room with me and like 6 guys getting together to, we went to a little hotel to now we got 250 people in the room and just having a great time.
Yeah, massive props. And if you're thinking about growing a digital agency, there is no better place than here at Josh Nelson. I'm not being paid to say this. I go to a lot of conferences. There is no one who has a better structured program and other people that truly, genuinely want to help other people than Josh Nelson.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Appreciate you so much, man. I know you're busy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Guys, you're in good company. Good work being on here late at night, learning, plugging in. Keep crushing it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And Lynn Askin too, who's one of the key coaches. Come say hi. Come say hi to our personal brand accelerator. All these guys are experts monetizing their expertise. They do a lot of coaching.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Hello, everyone. So great to see all of you.
And you're teaching on EOS tomorrow.
Yes, I am. I'm doing a session tomorrow on EOS, which is Entrepreneurial Operating System. I'm doing a presentation tomorrow on that.
Yeah. And you've grown multiple 7-figure agencies.
Yes, we have, and I don't know. It's pretty exciting to be here.
Yeah, and he's very, very humble. So you should follow Lynn Askin, ASKIN. All right. All right. Just want to say hi. Yeah. Thanks, Lynn. Guys. Appreciate you. See? So you build relationships in public with co-created content. Okay. Now you see that wasn't a testimonial. None of those were testimonials. Those are all based on edifying. When you edify other people, now notice I didn't ask Josh Nelson to say anything about me. I was talking about, I honestly appreciate Josh Nelson. See? And then he turned around and said all those things, right?
It's also the law of reciprocation. Like, yeah, because you're giving so much to these people, they just feel so inclined to give back.
Yeah. You guys see how that is? You see that reciprocity, that whole bounce back? So the more you edify other people, the more it's going to come back at you.